Hey everybody, I'm Jesse, and welcome to another edition of Gen X Thinks. And today I'm going to talk about Generation X, the generation who's in love with the apocalypse, and why that is. But before I get into that, I'd like to tell you about an app I found. It's an audiobook app, a lot like Audible, except you actually own the books. You can download them and put them on a DVD or a thumb drive or something and actually have a physical copy of the books you bought. I did a video about that, the ownership of digital property and stuff, earlier this year, and as it turns out, we don't actually own that stuff. Anything we buy from Amazon, digital stuff we buy from Amazon and stored in the cloud, we don't own it at all. Yeah, you have no right to it. They just take it away when they want. You can look it up if you don't believe me. But anyway, I abandoned Audible and started a search for a similar app that would let me listen to audiobooks, but allow me to own them as well. After I purchased them, what a brand new concept that is, to actually own something you purchase. But here's the link to their app, to their website, and you can sign up there. I think if you use this link to sign up, I get a free book. So it's not completely altruistic of me, but it is a good thing to find and support companies that actually follow civilized rules and allow us to own the things that we purchase. Also, I think a part of every purchase you make on there goes to a local bookstore that you choose to help a local actual physical bookstore. So that's pretty cool too. I like that about it. But I'll put that link down in the description as well if you're interested. And also, I'd like to welcome Final Fantasy Freak as our newest member. So welcome, Final Fantasy. It's really cool of you to support the channel in that way. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. So thank you very much. And welcome aboard. And now we'll talk about Generation X and the apocalypse. The psychological reasons for kind of hoping for an apocalypse for most of us guys, and a lot of Gen X chicks too, is pretty obvious. We grew up constantly threatened with the apocalypse, and we were constantly bombarded with that media, either, apocalyptic or post-apocalyptic movies and all kinds of stuff like that. It was it's such an ingrained part of our youth growing up. It was constant threat of an apocalypse, or the latest movie was post-apocalyptic, and I love that shit the whole time. Those are my favorite movies. It's my favorite genre. They don't make really good ones very often, but still, even a bad post-apocalyptic movie is better than a good movie in any other genre, as far as I'm concerned. So that stuff, we all know that stuff. Why we kind of grew up like that, kind of expecting, if not hoping for one, at the very least expecting one. Now, thinking about it nowadays, though, why would I even look forward to an apocalypse now? Well, honestly, it would be kind of a relief, number one, because as far as I see it, we used to be like barbarians, humanity, we were barbarians and shit, right? We chased each other with axes and, just jumped out of longboats and assaulted each other and shit, took what we wanted. And now we're supposed to be civilized, but nothing has really changed. We still storm beaches and slaughter people and all this stuff, but we just changed the verbiage, right? We changed the wording we use. Now we're doing it for democracy. Now we're doing it for all these different reasons. We'll lock people up if they don't pay their taxes and don't pay their dues to the government, whether the government's run by a president or a king. What does it matter when they're taking your money? You know what I'm saying? So back when we were barbarians, you know, the tribal chief would take 3 of your sheep. If you didn't want to kick in, they would hang you or whatever. Now they're taking your currency, and if you don't want to kick in, they put you in a cell. So, I mean, the basic idea is still the same. And in war, we still wage war for no damn reason. We're still running around. Now it's high tech, and we've updated our language we use to make it more palatable for the masses, to make them think that they're living in a civilized society, right? Now, if you take just one dude and he goes around and you know, slaughters some people with an axe, he's a psychopath. He goes to prison. But if one dude has a bunch of people in uniforms go and slaughter some other people, right? Then now that guy is a patriot or a hero or something. He's idolized. Now, what's the damn difference between the two? Okay, they're both mass murderers, and we've been tricked into this weird mindset where we think that we're so civilized and we're above all this barbarism and all that shit. But the only real difference is we have less freedom now, right? They're just taking our freedoms. They're taking our liberties away. They're restricting us. They're poisoning us with the food. They're poisoning us with the medication, and we have no freedom. Okay, I personally would rather have freedom. I don't, you know, if I'm gonna live in a barbaric society, then I'd rather be a barbarian than a slave, than a robot, than a sheep. I'd rather, you know, make my life off of my own skill, my own determination, my own resilience. Right now, I'm just on a hamster wheel trying to make enough money to pay the government so they don't cart me off to jail. And that's not the life I was promised. I was promised this American dream with prosperity and all this shit, right? And now people are turning to digital currency in hopes of getting rich quick, making a quick buck, and getting off the hamster wheel. And that's one way to do it. You know, if you get lucky, you can, or if you have the resources to where you can put the money in there and just forget about it until it, you know, 10x's or whatever. You don't have to pull it out to pay the bills. So yeah, that works. But what also would work is a nice Carrington level event, and just shut the internet down. Shut the power grid down and let us sort it out for ourselves. The weak ones will, you know, huddle up in their corners and cry about no internet and no fast food and no Uber Eats and no Teslas anymore and all this stuff, right? No cell phones, no Facebook or Twittergram or whatever. So yeah, all that shit would go away, which would be fine with me. I mean, I think a lot of people have trouble believing that, but I would just kill the internet, period. I remember life before the internet. Oh, it was such a pain in the ass to have to go to the library. Oh, just, can you imagine having to get in your car or get on your bicycle and go 3 blocks to find out some information? I mean, it's caveman days, you know. It's how could we live like that? I couldn't. You just couldn't do it. You know, everybody would just die. No, life was simpler back then. It was better, I would argue, without the internet, without all this constant chaos and squabbling. It was less divided. America was less divided back then. Period. End of story. Before the internet came along, the internet was like a big cleaver that chopped American society up into segments and divided them up along lines of race and party and religion and every way you can think of to dissect a population, the internet has done it. And they have all these bots on there that foment and exacerbate conflict on the internet, where they get you hating one side or the other, and it's not even a real person with these ideas. It's just 10 million bots that have been programmed to spout this nonsense. So yeah, that kind of shit. And it would just, life would be simpler and better. I'm just one of those people that value freedom. I mean, it is the greatest ideal. I do not value convenience. I don't value currency. I don't value all this cheap plastic Chinese shit they got us buying. I don't value that shit I value it, but not to the level that I value freedom. And the people who don't value freedom don't understand what it is, what it's about, and don't understand where the hell they're headed when it's all of it's taken away. Everyone should have to do a year in a cell or something and completely take away their freedom so that they understand what freedom is. Because people don't. They don't understand what freedom is, and that's the insidious thing about slavery, is that when you're born into it and you don't know anything else, it's comfortable. Okay? And that's the biggest difference between Gen X and the younger generations, is that, these younger generations have come up into this world with the TSA and the censorship and a lot of these senseless, needless laws and regulations. So they've come up in that world so that they're used to it. All right? They're used to this. That's their normal. Where Gen X, we lived in a time of more freedom, not complete freedom. We didn't live in, 1779 or whatever when there was real freedom, but we lived in a time where there was a lot more than there is today. Over the last 40 years, a lot of freedom has been taken away. The freedom to speak, the freedom to move about the country. They used to have a commercial, American Airlines or something. You're now free to move about the country. Well, you're not anymore. You have to go through a TSA check. Unless you're a celebrity, Tom Cruise and Tom Hanks and them, they don't have to. You've never seen any of them standing in a TSA line. They don't have to do that shit. But us common folks have to, right? Us common folks have to stand in a damn quarter-mile long line and wait to get patted down and get our orifices checked and shit. So yeah, that's this double standard is what really gets my goat. All these double standards, the hypocrisy of it. We're about peace and we're civilized and shit, while we're over there slaughtering people and poisoning people and taking away their freedoms and their rights. And a civilized country is supposed to be a country of freedom and peace and prosperity, not a country of censorship and surveillance and pat downs and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That's not civilized. That's just control, and control does not equal civilized. I'd rather have freedom and a little bit of danger, or a whole lot of danger, than slavery and a whole lot of convenience. That's just me. They can take their digital currency and their universal basic income and all that shit and shove it right up their asses. I want no part of it. I'd rather see the grid go down. Yeah, personally, I might even smile if it happened. All right. And I'll leave you there with that. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, subscribe, and comment. If you'd like to support the channel by becoming a member, I'll leave that link down in the description. Thanks again, Final Fantasy Freak. Or you can head over to the channel page and become a member that way. If you'd like to support the channel directly, you can do so by clicking on that super thanks button down there. Or you can head over to Buy Me a Coffee and buy me a cup of coffee. I appreciate those of you who do that, and I'll leave that link down in the description as well. If you're interested in Gen X gear, we got some pretty cool stuff over there at Redbubble. Gen X Thinks and Gen X branded stuff. T-shirts like this one I'm wearing. Gen X Thinks, leave us alone. But yeah, all kinds of cool stuff over there. But I'll leave that link down in the description too for any of you who are interested. If you can't or don't want to support the channel in any of those ways, you can always do so by sharing these videos on your social media. That helps out one hell of a lot, so thank you very much to those of you who do that. I really appreciate it. And if you have any ideas for future episodes of Gen X Thinks, please put those down in the comments. Or you can email us, and the email is genxthinks@gmail.com. And as always, stay frosty, Gen X, and I'll see you on the next one.